Before England became England, before castles dominated the landscape, before one king would become known as Alfred the Great, an army arrived from across the sea, not to raid, not to trade, but to conquer. In the year 865 AD, something unlike anything England had seen before appeared on its eastern shores. Viking ships, hundreds of them, and aboard them came warriors, horses, weapons, and families prepared to stay. Later generations would give this force a terrifying name, the Great Heathen Army. These were not the small raiding parties that had terrified coastal monasteries for decades. This was different. This was an army. Its leaders are traditionally said to have included Ivar the Boneless, Halfdan and Ubba, and according to later Norse tradition, they had a reason for coming: revenge. Their father was said to be Ragnar Lothbrok, the legendary Viking whose death supposedly drove his sons to England. But there is a problem. We don't know for certain whether Ragnar Lothbrok ever existed as the sagas describe him. The legend may be part history, part myth, and part propaganda. Whatever brought them to England, the Vikings came prepared to stay. Their first major target was Northumbria. In 866, the Vikings captured York, one of the most important cities in northern England. Then came East Anglia, then Mercia. Kingdom after kingdom began to fall. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms were divided. Their armies were fighting separately, and the Vikings were exploiting that weakness. Within years, enormous areas of England were under Scandinavian control. But the Vikings did not simply destroy what they conquered. They settled. They brought families. They established farms. They built communities. And they brought their own customs, laws, and beliefs. Eventually, much of northern and eastern England became known as the Danelaw, a land where Scandinavian influence would survive for generations, and their legacy can still be found today in place names, in language, in customs, and in the very foundations of England. But there was one kingdom that refused to disappear, Wessex, and one king who would become the Vikings' greatest obstacle, Alfred, the man history would remember as Alfred the Great. Alfred did not defeat the Vikings immediately. He was forced to retreat. He rebuilt. He reorganized his forces, and he waited. Then, in 878 AD, Alfred struck. At the Battle of Edington, Alfred's army confronted the Viking forces led by Guthrum. The battle changed the course of English history. Alfred won. Guthrum was forced to negotiate. The Vikings were not expelled from England. Instead, a settlement was reached. The Viking-controlled territories were recognized, while Wessex remained an independent Anglo-Saxon kingdom. But here is where the story becomes more complicated. Was the Great Heathen Army really one enormous force? How many warriors actually came to England? Was revenge for Ragnar Lothbrok truly their motivation? And how much of the story we know today was shaped by writers centuries after the events themselves? The surviving sources were written by people who lived through a world of war, religion, and political struggle. Some accounts were written long after the events, and the Viking sagas were recorded generations later. So where does history end and legend begin? One thing, however, is beyond doubt. In 865 AD, an army crossed the North Sea. It came to England. It conquered kingdoms. It changed the map. and it left a legacy that survives more than 1,000 years later. But perhaps the greatest mystery isn't why the Vikings came. Perhaps it's how close they came to taking everything. Because if Alfred had lost at Edington, there may never have been an England as we know it today.